Be honest, how many of you have at least 10 Google Docs, PDFs sitting in a folder right now? And every time you need something, you scroll endlessly like you're looking for hidden treasure. But what if instead of chasing information could chase you? And that is exactly what Google NotebookLM does. Think of it as your personal research assistant, your teacher, your note taker, all rolled into one. Welcome back to Prompt and Chips, everyone. My name is Temi, and in today's deep dive, I'll be showing you how Google's NotebookLM can literally change the way you study, the way you work, and even the way you run your business. We'll be looking at the audio overviews, the video overviews, the interactive mode, the new features, flashcards and quiz, as well as the auto-generated reports. Okay, before we go into the features, let's get real. Students, exams are coming. You've got 100 pages of lecture notes as well as lecture recordings. Do you read everything? No. Do you miss important details? Absolutely. Professionals, you've got reports, meeting recordings, and your research papers are piling up. Keeping track on insights? Good luck. Companies, you need to onboard new employees. Onboarding, while it is really necessary, can be both time-consuming and expensive because anything time-consuming is expensive. Creators, you're preparing your YouTube video or a podcast or even a blog post. You've got tons of references. Do you have time to sift through everything? Probably not. And this is where NotebookLM says, don't stress, I got you. It's that friend who studies the same textbook as you. Think of it as ChatGPT, but this time, instead of a all-knowing text generation AI tool, this one uses the same textbook as you, does not make assumptions, does not infer based on internet information or anything. It is whatever you feed it in, process it, and give you information. If this kind of content gets you curious and you're into discovering useful AI tools, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. In return, I promise to keep showing up with the latest AI tool reviews, trends, as well as smart ways to help you stay safe on the internet. Once you're signed in, this is what your interface is going to look like. Something really simple. And remember that if you're already signed into your Google account, you do not need to sign into this platform since this is owned by Google. And if you're a first-time user, you're seeing basically what I'm currently seeing. This is a blank slate, and you have your CTA here saying you should create a new notebook. And once you've created some notebooks, they're going to show here under my notebooks. And we also have something called featured notebooks. These are like public notebooks that you could actually access, read summaries on various topics. You really cannot interact much with public notebooks. The best you can do is to listen to audios that have been generated, read summaries that have been generated, and that's it. But yeah, you will agree with me that these are really interesting topics if you want a quick summary. So we'll go back to this all interface, and we could use this CTA or this one right here. So I'm going to click create new notebook. Yeah, unlike other text generation model, AI model, this one is not going to show you like an input, a text feed for you to enter your prompts. It's basically asking you for your source. Remember that your NotebookLM is not going to infer, it's basically going to use the materials that you've passed into it. So you can choose your file, you can upload a PDF, a text doc, a Markdown, or even audio. Yes, even audio. That's really amazing. And you could even connect it to your Google Drive, or maybe even pass in a link, and it's going to use that the information on that website or YouTube as the source. Or you could even paste text as well. Now, it's possible that you don't have sources to give it, you do not have it. You could use discover sources. So if I click discover sources here, you can see it's asking you to describe what you want to learn about, and it's going to fetch related information. But we're going to go back real quick and upload a source. So go back to this and upload our source. If I click choose file, go to NotebookLM real quick, and let's use the project management guide. So if you are, say, preparing for a PMP exam, or even you want to learn more about project management, this is definitely a good guide. So I'm going to be using this as my source, and you could add more source. I'll wait for it to process the source. And yeah, it's all done. So yeah, I have like my quick summary saying the provided text consists of so this is like summary of what the book is all about, right? But that's not just all you can do with it. You can basically ask it question and say, based on this book, summarize, let's do that. So we could say, summarize the key points of say the initiating process group. That's like something in project management. And let's see what we have. Okay, and then it says, based on the sources provided, the structure of the PMBOK guide has shifted significantly, basically giving me result based on this single source. Remember that you could add more than one source. But what then is the difference between NotebookLM and ChatGPT or Claude or DeepSeek? I mean, I could also upload file there, right? So that is where we have this studio. On this section, we have like the audio overview, the video overview, the mind map, report, flashcards, and even quiz. So if I start with audio overview, it's going to generate audio based on the source. And let's see that quickly. So I'm just going to start many processes at once because sometimes this takes like a few minutes to generate. So I'm going to also start the video overview and the mind map. Of course, this is going to delay it. Report. Okay, I think we should come back to reports here. Yeah, so this will take a while. Still generating. You've got to be patient. There's a lot. The PMBOK guide is really huge and a lot of processes are happening here. So waiting. So I had to like pause the video and even set like a timer to know how many minutes this is going to take. And this really took about 4 minutes, to generate. And the video overview is still generating. I think starting 2 processes at once might not be a good idea. But yeah, let's interact with the audio that we currently have.
Look, if you're like us, you've probably felt swamped trying to keep up with professional standards. There's just so much information out there, right?
It really is a lot. So our mission today basically is to cut through that noise. We want to give you the essential.
So quickly, imagine you're too tired to read your own textbook or your own research paper. So what this audio overview, what it does is that it's going to convert like some main important aspect of your paper into audio summary in a podcast style version. So just sip your coffee and listen to 2 people discuss your work. Maybe not your work, discuss your textbook and give you some key concepts out of it.
Tools from the current blueprint for project delivery.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the big ideas, the major shifts in thinking in the...
And you see, another good use case is that if you have, say, a report and you need to catch up on, you could also listen to it.
Current standard for project management, help you get your head around the modern way to deliver successfully.
And let's just put the biggest change right out there, up front. The whole philosophy, it's fundamentally different now.
Totally. We're moving away from that really prescriptive, process checklist approach, the kind that drove the older guides.
Exactly. It's moving towards...
Okay, so some other things you could actually do with this is that you can actually download this audio. You can share this audio. So take it completely out of NotebookLM and do stuff with it. And the coolest part of this is that you can interact with it. Remember I said this is like a podcast version. So you could even join the podcast. So I'm going to click the play now.
Welcome to the deep dive. Look, if you're like us, you've probably felt swamped trying to keep up with professional standards. There's just so much information out there, right?
It really is a lot. So our mission today basically is to cut through that noise. We want to give you the essentials from the...
So I'm going to join in and just ask it some questions. When you're listening to something like this, you might be interested in specific stuff, not just the entire audience, because to be honest, this is still AI and there are still going to be some ramblings, things that you're actually not interested in.
Well, so the current blueprint.
Oh wait, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Hello, I'm just happy to be joining this podcast today. So quickly, can you give me like the 10 major knowledge area according to the 7th edition?
welcome aboard. We are so happy you joined us so quickly.
That is a great question, and it gets right to the heart of the biggest shift in this new edition.
Okay, let's unpack this. The quick answer is the traditional knowledge areas, scope, schedule, cost, risk those, are mostly gone in the 7th edition.
Right, previous editions emphasized those 10 knowledge areas, focusing on process groups. This new guide shifts the focus completely.
Instead of those 10 areas, the 7th edition introduces 2 main concepts, 12 project management principles and 8 project performance domains.
Think of it this way, the principles are the how you should act part. The ethical and guiding norms we'll discuss soon, like stewardship and focus on value.
And the 8 project,
That's quite interesting. I didn't even know that a lot has changed from the 6th edition to the 7th edition. Can you give me like the major highlight of what has really changed in the 7th edition now?
We are happy you noticed that. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect question right now because we can totally summarize the biggest changes.
The shift from the 6th to the 7th edition is massive. It reflects how work is actually done today.
Okay, let's unpack this. The major highlight is definitely the change in structure and focus.
First, previous editions were process-based, prescriptive. They told you how to do things with those ITOs, inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs.
Now, the 7th edition moves to a principles-based standard. It focuses on what should be achieved, the outcomes.
You see this in the shift from those 10 knowledge areas.
Oh, go for it.
So does it mean that the ITTOs has been scrapped now in the 7th edition?
That is another fantastic question. You are right to focus on the ITOs.
You are referring to the inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs, right? The famous ITOs.
Okay, let's unpack this. The quick answer is no, they haven't been totally scrapped.
They've simply been repositioned.
In previous editions, the ITOs were central to the process-based approach.
Of course, based on your interest, you might want to ask structured, focused questions, direct questions so that it could just go to that part of your source and actually respond to you. So I could listen to this all day. This is really cool. I think this is like the hallmark of NotebookLM. And quickly, we'll go back to our studio. Yeah, and now we're going to also review the video overview. So I've generated some videos. I must mention that it actually takes a lot of time to generate videos, at least 6 minutes, and you could same way you could do with audio overview. If I keep clicking video overview, I most likely will be getting content on the different parts of the sources or of the source or sources that you must have uploaded. In our case, we have just one, so I'll click on the video overview and just play it, the first one.
All right, let's jump right in. Project management is changing, and it is changing fast.
You see, with the video overview, you can generate like a mini explainer. It's going to show you like charts, just changing your content to relatable visuals, not boring. And you also have like all the video controls. You have something to increase the playback speed. You can rewind, you can fast forward, and you can also go full screen. I imagine that you most likely will want to go full screen if it is video.
I mean, the old rule books, they're basically being torn up and rewritten. And the big one, the guide at the center of it all, the PMBOK guide, has just gone through its biggest evolution ever. So today, we're going to break down this new playbook and really figure out what it means for getting things done. But first, let's start with a question that I'm sure we've all asked ourselves at some point. Why is it that a project can follow a plan to the letter, check every single box, and still kind of miss the mark? The thing gets delivered, but the actual value just isn't there. It's super frustrating, right? And it happens because our world is just way too complex for these rigid, one-size-fits-all instruction manuals. You can think of the old way of doing project management like making a microwave meal. You know the drill. You get a box with very specific, very process-heavy instructions. You follow them exact.
To be honest, I don't think I've seen any PM courses or lectures. Okay, maybe lectures. Yeah, that really make it so fun and just relating it to everything. So I could keep going on and on. So when you think of your video overview, just think of it as a mini explainer, like I had mentioned. It's going to show like the charts, the text overlays, the visuals, and some nice use cases could be if you're a teacher, you could generate, say, a good recap videos for your students. And if you're a business owner, you can turn your onboarding guide into a nice video overview like this. And if you're a content creator, you could create like draft ideas for your script or even generate videos. And you can also do stuff with these videos on other platforms. So we have some controls like the share. If I click the share button, this is, if you're very familiar with the Google Drive, it's just showing you same thing you see on Google Drive when you want to share. So you can manage the access here if you want to change this to anyone with a link or share with specific people or group, and yeah, you can copy the link once you've done all of this. And I'm just going to close this. If you don't want to share link and you just want to have like something you can distribute on other platform, you can easily download it as well, and you'll have your video generated for you. You'll have it generated for you. So yes, this is the video overview. Unlike the audio, there's really nothing much you want to interact with. So if I go back to my studio, I had generated 2 videos, and I click on the second one, the most recent, and I play it. Let's see the difference between the contents. I didn't use any prompts to generate the second one, by the way. I basically just click the video overview again.
All right, if you're in the project management world, you know the PMBOK guide. For decades, it's been, well, the Bible, right? The foundational reference. But with the 7th edition, something huge happened. I mean, this wasn't just a little update, it was a complete ground-up rewrite. So let's dive into this massive transformation. So, you gotta ask, why the huge change? Why take a guide that so many of us built our careers and practices on and just rewrite it? Well, the simple answer is that the world of work has completely changed, and project management really had to evolve with it. At its core, the change is a move away from that very process-based model, a prescriptive set of inputs, tools, and outputs, to a much more flexible, principle-based framework. The best way to think about it?
If you ask me, I think I prefer the second one, and the first one, not that is bad, but also if you listen to it and watch it completely, you will see that the 2 videos are kind of like speaking to the same thing, just explaining it in a different way. So they're basically telling you that, okay, things has changed now, the 7th edition, this is what it's all about. And yeah, so I think they're still majorly the same concept, explaining a different way and also bringing the different parts of your source. So this is like very good. If you are a content creator or a business owner, go ahead and turn your white paper into nice video overview. If you're still here, that probably means this is your kind of content, and I'm really glad you're enjoying it. So do me a quick favor, like the video and hit the subscribe button. In return, I promise to keep showing up with the latest AI tool reviews, trends, and smart ways to help you stay safe on the internet. Other nice features we could explore in the studio is we have the mind map, we have reports, we have flashcards, as well as quiz. But before we do that, I'll go back to something I had mentioned earlier about generating your own source. Now look at it, I'm trying to understand the PMBOK 7th edition, and I actually have only the PMBOK 7th edition test book. What if there are other materials out there online that could actually explain it, or that they must have written some articles about it, extract important stuff? So I'll go back quickly to my notebook and I'll start a new notebook this time around. Or maybe let's do something. Let's go back. If I click on this and I click on PMBOK, you do not need to start a new notebook completely if you want to add a new source. You can easily just click on add and discover sources, or even click on discover, and anything you do here is going to add to your sources. So you do not need to start a new notebook. I am doing this because I want to start a new notebook on another topic. So I don't have any source to feed it here, so I'm going to click on discover sources, and I'll say malware. Let's go into cybersecurity a bit. I'll say malware analysis and reverse engineering. Okay, I don't have it from my Google Drive, so I'll say from the web, and then I submit. Yes, so you can review all the sources. So if I go through this, if there's anything you don't want if there's any source that you don't want, you could unselect it. So for instance, I have Ghidra here. Do I want it to go into that detail? I think that should be like dynamic analysis or static analysis, not sure now. So if I click on this, I'll just import. So here we have 10 sources, and later on we will discuss why 10 sources, because that's like a cap. Okay, this is loading. Yeah, and it has processed all of our sources. So As always, let's go back to our studio. I'm just going to click on audio overview so that to start generating audio, of course, then the video overview. And our interest with these sources right now is on the mind map as well as the reports. The audio overview and the video overview, already we know that we can interact with our audio, so there's really nothing new to show there again other than the new topic, of course. And then we'll do our mind map, then the reports. So let me quickly explain this report aspect. So NotebookLM is able to generate, like, say, structured reports from your sources, so say, think of summary, think of a study guide, think of a blog post. So you can create your own report, and this is like, let's say, a summary overview of your sources, study guide if you're preparing for an exam, and then blog post. So I'm just going to click blog post, and then it's generating one. You see, in a world where people have very low attention span, I feel like one limiting thing about NotebookLM is how much time it takes. It takes time, but if you need this, then it's worth it. So our report has been generated now, and we can come to this place. So this is the report. A blog post, remember, not like an executive summary. So a blog post is usually kind of like long. Of course, you also want to do the human in the loop thing, so you want to proofread whatever it has given to you. If you need like maybe more work to be done here, you could combine other AI tools, use it to trim it down more. You could even add images to this, and just make your blog post really good. People are making money from this already. And we have our mind map. Our mind map is, if you're a visual thinker, most people like to think when they could actually see the thing visually, they could see the connection, see the process. So NotebookLM is able to like give you a visual guide, a visual connection of the topic. So we have malware analysis and forensic techniques. So if I click on this, you'll see the various concepts. If I click on core concept, and the whole thing could just keep going like that, and we could zoom. So if I click on the Windows analysis, click on Linux analysis, Mac analysis, you see how the content, how the connection is being made. So if, say, you're a student, a good use case, if you're a student and you want to visualize how your topics actually connect, this is something that you can do. And if you're a writer, you can also structure your book like this. And I will just quickly exit this. Again, like any other thing, every other feature on the studio, anything it generates, you can download. That's a really, really good part of it. And I'll go back to our studio, and of course our audio and video, they are still currently generating. We'll spend just a little time and just interacting with the audio again, and let's see how it behaves with a different topic. And now we have our video generated. The audio generation failed, and I am currently restarting it. Also, another thing that failed here was one of the sources I had uploaded. It couldn't pass it for some reasons. So this things also happened. So basically, I have like 9 sources here. So let's look at the video.
Today, we're diving into a real
I feel like the visuals are kind of like, really the same.
digital detective story. We're talking about the super high-stakes world of hunting malware. You know that feeling, right? That sinking feeling when your computer just starts acting weird. Pop-ups everywhere, files go missing. For most of us, that's pure panic. But for a cybersecurity analyst, that's not panic. That's the start of a brand new case. Yeah, for them, that machine becomes a digital crime scene. Every single byte of data is a potential piece of evidence, a clue left behind by some digital intruder. The mission is clear. Hunt down that malicious program, figure out exactly...
Too fast, I know. So this is just for us to see like a video overview on another topic entirely. And when our audio overview is done generating, we'll also look at the interactive mode. And we have the audio here, so I'm just gonna play this.
Welcome back. Today we are really going deep, strapping in for a look
To be honest, my interest here is the
at
interactive
the digital
I'll
underworld.
just
It's this Welcome back. Today we are really going deep, strapping in for a look at the digital underworld. It's this constant, intense cat and mouse game, isn't it? Between malicious code.
Oh, our listeners got something to share. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I really just want to understand the core aspect of malware analysis. Can you tell me how malware analysts start their job? Like, what are the things they look out for?
Oh, that is a fantastic question.
It's a really important one.
You want the core process.
Absolutely.
I wasn't done speaking, by the way.
The main goal of a malware analyst is simple, right?
It's to figure out exactly what the malicious program can do.
And then how to detect it on a network and how to measure and contain the damage.
That's the why. The how really comes down to two fundamental approaches.
Static analysis and dynamic analysis.
Static is looking at the file without running it.
Dynamic involves running it in a safe, controlled environment.
Those two techniques are the whole foundation of the job. Oh, go for it.
Can you tell me, like, when they choose to, when do they use the dynamic analysis and when do they use the static analysis? And do malware, do they really get the files, the source code all the time?
Those are three really critical questions.
And we can absolutely lay out that strategy for you.
Okay, let's unpack this. First, when do you choose static versus dynamic?
You start with static analysis first, always.
Why always static first?
Because you never trust live malware.
Exactly. You want to look at the blueprint, the imports, and the strings.
Static analysis is faster, great for quick classification, and seeing known malware families.
Then you move to dynamic analysis when static hits a wall.
Right, like if the malware is packed or encrypted.
It's limited.
Again, I'm really just asking basic questions. So if this were to be like your own sources, you definitely know what you want to do with it. Yeah, so we've explored all those nice creative tools, right? Now let's look at these two new features. These were newly added about a month or less ago, and we have the flashcards quiz. So if you want to have like flashcards, I know we have application where you could use to create your own flashcard, but let's be honest, creating flashcards can be time consuming, especially when you need to handle the content yourself. So we have flashcards, yeah, and just like others, you have to generate the flashcards. And we also have quiz. For me as a student, the way I use ChatGPT as a student, I sometimes upload my lecture notes and ask it to generate quiz for me, you know, or important things to note, which could pass as flashcards, you know. But yet you basically have like flashcard features. You can view it as a flashcard, and you can also generate interactive quiz based on that. So I'm going to click on quiz. I'm gonna mention that at first I thought it was generating video and the audio that takes some time, but even generating flashcards and generating quiz, the processing takes some time. Okay, it's telling me not so long. Now I'm going to click on the flashcards. So we have in malware analysis, which type of analysis should be performed first to avoid putting the system at risk. Of course, the way you use your flashcard is to click on it so that it will flip and then you see the answer. So it says basic static analysis should be performed before dynamic analysis. So if you want, like, maybe you want to explain this flashcard, you could click on this explain flashcard, and you could also proceed to the next. What is a significant limitation of dynamic malware analysis regarding code execution? If I click on this, not all code part may execute when the malware is run. Like that. We have 72 flashcards here. That is amazing, and to be honest, I forgive the time, irrespective of how long this takes. It is nothing compared to how much time it would have taken human. And we have quiz here. So if we click on the quiz, we have 11 quizzes here. And remember, you can also generate another set of quizzes, and we've not even used the prompts. I'm not focusing on this because almost everyone, we are all familiar with like text generation models now. You know how you can, write your prompt and get whatever information that you need. So we have the quiz, and this is basically setting it as a computer-based test. You have hints, except most computer-based tests do not give you hints, and what is signified by a blue arrow. If I click on this, you can see it's telling me which one is the right answer. It's explaining to you why. Learning is easy now, and if you want to learn, you're gonna learn. So this is a really, really cool feature. It goes beyond just uploading your file. Now, another cool thing that I'm going to quickly mention is that you can as well upload audio. we mentioned that earlier. Many people do not know that they can upload audio, and this is where Notebook LLM actually beats other tools. And remember, you can upload as much as possible based on your plan, of course. So I'm selecting multiple. And I'm hearing some sound. Maybe it's my computer. This is not the heavy application, by the way. Okay, so it's currently passing my audio. Okay, that's actually my computer. So my audios are done passing now, and I could ask it question. Can you tell me what this is about? We could do like the audio overview. We could do like the video overview as well, you know, based on this. So this is the whole aspect of putting in your sources, interacting with it, getting output from it. Now let's look at the Notebook LM pricing model. So if you come to this place, the settings, and you click on upgrade to plus, it should take you to the pricing model page, which I have right here. Everything I have done on this call has been done with the free plan. So you're getting a lot of things already with the free plan. You're getting up to like 10 sources, you know, for anything you can upload, your sources and all. But with the Notebook LM plan, you can actually get more audio overviews, you can get more notebooks, you know. Another thing I think we also didn't explore is actually writing notes, creating notes. You know, you can create like shared notebooks for your team, and you also have like additional privacy and security. It's worth learning more about, you know, to know what you can get. So if you're already getting this for free, which as a student, I think this is almost enough, unless you're probably really deep into research work. Imagine what you would get with a pro plan. I can't imagine it. I think it would be really, really awesome. And if I go back to this, if you notice when I click on our settings, we also have some nice things. Of course, with almost every application nowadays, you can send feedback, you can get app, and we have a nice community, a nice Discord community, which I'm going to actually show us real quick. And you have your output language. So this is for you to customize based on region. And let's look at the Discord quickly. So I have my Discord community opened right here. I love the community nature of the application. You know, I'm currently logged in on another phone, on another device, but yeah, you can see everything that is happening. You're getting announcements, you're getting guidelines, people are sharing what they are doing with Notebook LM. So if you're using Notebook LM, don't just stay in your own world, don't stay in your own ecosystem. See what people are doing, you know, and you can even drop messages here yourself, introduce yourself if you want a community. So Notebook LM isn't just another notes app. It could be your research buddy, your study partner, or even your content co-pilot. So if you're drowning in information, this tool might just be saving you some hours, or even your sanity. And if you find this video helpful, go ahead and like the video and hit the subscribe button. Also share with a friend who needs smarter ways to help them study. Until next time, keep studying and working smarter, not harder.